All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I just had a quick thought, and I was thinking about it because I was watching a review on YouTube about a flashlight for a pistol mounted light, and is a new TLR7, I think, high output model. And my thought was this, and I think it's an interesting thing that nobody brings out, but there comes a certain point where you get more than you really need. And this is especially relevant on pistol mounted lights. Now, when it comes to a rifle mounted light for tactical reasons, for going to war or whatever, and you're going to be reaching distances of 300 meters or more with a rifle that you could easily shoot a target at that distance without harming anything around it that you might not see. That makes a lot of sense to have a 1200 lumen, 2000 lumen light that can stretch out to 300 meters. But my thought is what is the point in having a pistol mounted light? Because everything you point a pistol at, you need to be willing to kill. So I don't understand the point of these lights that have more than. Now, once you get below 400 lumen and about a 80-meter throw, I could say that's a little underpowered. I think anything under 400 lumen is probably not going to be quite adequate enough for even CQB situations where you're room clearing stuff, or you're outside and you're checking outside because you heard a noise and you think there's a threat, or you've seen a threat on the camera and you know it's a possible threat. You might want to have something at least 400 lumens to kind of go and check out that threat and identify the threat and see what you can see with it. So 400 lumens, 600 lumens, 800 lumens for a pistol light seems extremely a good spectrum to kind of want your weapon light, your pistol mounted weapon light, to be in. And about an 80 meter to 150 meter throw, I don't see no problem with that. But when we start getting into these pistol mounted lights that have a 400, 300, 200 plus meter throw on it, and you got 1200 lumens, I don't really understand the point of it. I would rather have an 800 lumen light that has a lot more battery life and stays at 800 lumens a lot longer for my pistol than to have a 1200, 2000 lumen pistol light. Just doesn't make sense to me, okay? And once you get it so bright, if you grab your pistol off your nightstand and it's that bright, it's going to be bright enough to where it kind of washes out things at close distance, to where it would be hard to even identify what you're pointing at because it's so washed out, and it'll take your eyes a second to adjust. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit. I get that, guys. I know that 1200 lumens probably ain't going to be bright enough to make you not be able to see the threat pretty quickly, but it could wash it out a little bit when a 400 lumen or 800 lumen or 600 lumen would light it up just perfectly, where you could see it perfectly fine at up to, say, 40 feet, which is probably about the furthest you're going to be pointing the weapon mounted light in a house, is about 40, 50 feet furthest. And you can see that just fine with a 400, 600 lumen weapon mounted light. So, yeah, I just think there's a point where we kind of overkill in technology and things like that. And I would rather have a small light that's not so heavy and isn't bulking on the pistol than to have a real heavy, bright light that gets so bright. And I have both. I do have both. But I just think there's something worth noting and talking about. I don't think I've heard anybody talk about, because I have 400 lumen pistol mounted lights, and it'll light up any room in my house just if I point at the ceiling and my eyes are used to the dark or used to shadowy area. That 400 lumen light is plenty for me to see everything in the room just by pointing at the ceiling. So I don't see the point in having a 1200 lumen pistol light, and I don't see that in any case. I just don't see the point of it. You can't sit there and go outside, hear something in the woods, and that's 100 meters away, 200 meters away, and point the pistol at it and light it up. It might be your neighbor or something in the woods on his side of the property, and you're pointing a pistol at them. It might be on their property. So at that point, at what point is it really necessary to have that kind of light? Now, for a pocket flashlight, the more power you have, the better, I think. You know, I mean, one thing, they can be adjusted usually, so you can have usually 3 or 4 different brightness settings on the pocket lights. So having the brightest option possible, because you can actually point it at anything in the woods and you're not putting it in harm's way. You know, it's not a felony to point a flashlight at anybody, but to point a weapon mounted light at somebody, it can be a felony. So that's my thoughts for the day. Is consider, when you're buying a pistol mounted light, something that's actually practical and not something that's beyond practical or kind of useless. And you might spend a lot more for something you don't really need, and it probably just makes things, instead of more safe, makes things less safe in the sense of how it works. So it's just kind of pointless to have something bulkier and heavier and that's brighter than you'll ever need. So just a consideration. God bless. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later.